Hello, everybody. So, if I told you that I could teach you some tools that would disarm and diffuse painful thoughts so that they did not give you so much suffering, would you be interested? If so, keep watching. In my Martha Beck Wayfinder Life Coach training, we've been learning about something called acceptance and commitment therapy that was developed by Dr. Stephen Hayes, and acronym is ACT. But it's basically how to identify more with your observing mind rather than your thinking mind so that your thoughts are less painful. It's not trying to get rid of the thoughts, but it's practicing being the witness of your thoughts. And he has some really great tips about how to do that. A lot of what I'm going to talk to you about is from this book, The Happiness Trap by Russ Harris. And in this video, I'm just going to give you a really brief overview of the basis of acceptance and commitment therapy. And then in the next several videos, I will give you quick, easy tips for how to diffuse from your thoughts, because basically it's like we're fused with our thoughts, right? We're one with them. We believe we are our thoughts. And so all we really need is just a little bit of space from our thought to become the observer of the thought. And he has some really great tips about how to do that. The first thing to understand is that we have this illusion of control over our thoughts. Now, if we have external threats in our world, right, whether there's a tiger coming at us or there's a hailstorm or something like that, we have a mechanism within us, the fight or flight response, that helps us fight or flee. So when we have an external threat, we resist it or we suppress it or we escape it. So we might fight the tiger or run from the tiger. If there's a hailstorm, we might seek shelter in a cave, right? And so we take that strategy and we try to use it also when we have uncomfortable thoughts or uncomfortable emotions. But the problem is that the fight or flight strategy doesn't work with those. We just don't have control like we do of our external environment, of our internal environment. So, for example, if I told you, think of your earliest memory, and you got that and you brought it to mind, and then I said, okay, now make yourself never remember that again, you wouldn't be able to do it, right? Or the common thing when people say, okay, I'm going to say, don't think of polar bears. Whatever you do, don't think about a polar bear, right? Or if someone put a gun to your head and said, whatever you do, don't feel anxious, right? Your body will go into fight or flight there, and you'll have this physical, emotional response because that's how you were created. That's how you were designed to respond. If someone were to put a gun to your head and you didn't respond that way, there would be more of a problem because you wouldn't be having a normal human response. And yet, we have learned culturally to shame ourselves for having very natural human function, whether it's thoughts that are going through our mind or emotions that are rising up in physical sensation in our bodies. So rather than resisting or suppressing or escaping those things, what we do is we surrender to them and we let the energy move through us. The more we hold on to it or resist it and suppress it and deny it, the more it accumulates and stays with us. But if we let it pass through us, then we become freer much quicker. So that's where the acceptance comes from, accepting that our thoughts and our emotions are a very natural part of our human experience. I wanted to say that your thoughts go through your mind and your brain just like the air goes through your lungs or the blood goes through your heart. Your brain is designed to process thoughts, for thoughts to go in and out. It's more like thoughts happen to you. When you decide to have a thought, when you have choice and volition about it, it's because you're using a different part of your brain that is called your observing mind. So it's really kind of like we have two different minds. Our thinking mind that involves the words and the images that go through our minds, and then the observing mind, that's the one that watches that. And the observing mind is where we have the power of choice, of focus, awareness, attention, where we choose to put our attention on something. So we might choose to put it on our senses, on our external world. We might choose to put that focus of attention on our thoughts and watch our thoughts. We might watch our inner body sensations and experiences. But that part of our brain, the observer, if we can develop that part of our brain, then the thoughts that just come and go, the emotional, physical sensations in our body that come and go, will bring us much less suffering, because we'll understand that when we say, I observe that I'm having this thought, the I that's observing the thought is a little bit separate from that thought. So first little assignment before I give tips in the next couple days is to just think about a thought or two or three that runs through your head frequently that leads to suffering for you. So just maybe write them down. You can brainstorm up to 10 if you want to. We often have repetitive thoughts that plague us. Okay, and it might be something about yourself, a judgment about yourself. I'm too this or that. I'm not enough of this or that. It might be a judgment about another person. He is too much of this, or he should be, she shouldn't be, I should be, I shouldn't be. So think about these. It could be about life too. Life shouldn't be like this. Think about the thoughts that lead to suffering for you. See if you can think of at least 3 of them, and then in the coming days I will give you some really easy, helpful tools that will help you become the observer and diffuse. Just separate a little bit from that thought, not make it go away, but separate from it so that it does not have control over you and does not lead to suffering for you.